Yo, what's the deal, y'all? It's your man Eeze. Hope everybody doing well. If you notice, if you're a supporter of mine, right, of the channel, you notice I've been posting a lot of production work, different producers, things of that nature. It's a reason behind that. But before we get started, name your top 5 producers in hip hop. Just your top 5. Put them in the comment section. But I noticed that producers as of late um, are being very undervalued and unappreciated. And I think that's kind of lame, right? Don't be fooled just because tools are accessible, meaning that you can get your hands on them easily. Doesn't mean that everyone can do what some of these legendary producers or even up and coming producers are doing presently, right? In my estimation, producers are curators, point guard on the squad. They see everything, right? They're the visionary. Think about a RZA or a Q-Tip or someone of that ilk. They provide a landscape. They're also like a bridge between surface level ideas and a masterpiece. Producers are always in the room, from mixing to mastering. Um, they do everything. They're the architects, essentially. Your favorite albums. Think about it. Who carried a lot of the weight? There's a high probability that a quality producer was definitely in that room. Uh, you won't like every beat. I can tell you that as a fan. You're definitely not going to like every beat. But producers are more so concerned with loving the entire project. That's what they want from the listeners, or that's their goal. And I feel like we undervalue what they do, because without melody, without the music, because a vocal is melody in a sense, but I mean like the instrumental part of it. Without that, your favorite MC, I don't care who they are, from Nas, J, Rakim, uh, Big, Sky Zoo, G Rap, they're just spoken word artists. Spoken word artists without the melody. And I just want to speak on those things, man, because being a producer takes a lot of time. Think of the DJ premieres, right? They're on a 30-year run. But think about its beginning. First, you have to start with what? The equipment. Like, first of all, you have to want to do that. That's your goal. That's something you want to get into. That's what you want to have that dream come to fruition, right? That's what you want to get into. Once again. So now you figure out that's your aim, that's your play. Now you have to figure out which piece of equipment you want to use. You're going to use. I'm talking about hip hop at this moment. MPC at that time, Native Instruments nowadays, FL Studio, uh, ASR 10, whatever it is, you got to figure that out, right? Then, what's your focus? Are you instrumentalist? You play an instrument, whether it's a cello, bass, guitar, keyboards, whatever it is. You into sampling? Are you a DJ turned producer? Is it all of the above? It's a lot of hats that producers wear, man. A lot of people feel as though they just turn on the power button and all of a sudden they make magic, but that's not necessarily the case. It requires time, patience, know-how, humility. You got to ask questions, right? Because when you first buy a drum machine, what have you, whatever it is, you got to read the manual. And sometimes the manual, you know what? I'm not even doing this. I'm trial and error, hours upon hours, like any other instrument. Now, we've gotten to the point to where we'll ask ourselves, what happened to music? Or I don't like what's happening nowadays. But quality of anything begins to diminish or dwindle when we undervalue certain areas. People undervalue the producer nowadays because everyone feels as though they can do it because they have access. You can literally buy a DAW for probably less than $100, or even get it free if you wanted to go that route. Put it on your Mac or whatever system that you have in your possession, and you can start making beats within an hour. But just because you have the access, like I stated before, doesn't mean that the task isn't an arduous task. It takes time, patience to put together quality work. Think of someone like Pete Rock, right? individual figured out what he's going to use, because he started out with SP, right? It was NAC. Then later on, I know he transitioned to the MPC 2000 XL. But his ear, the gift, is what set him apart. It was 10,000 hours and counting. Being able to take 4, 5, 6, 7 different samples from different records, different keys at that too. Notice I said having a keen ear. Different keys, different tempos, blend them all together and make them all one cohesive unit. Now they're all in the same key, they're all the same tempo, they have the same feel. That's not easy. We should never undervalue anything like that. Should never undervalue that. Never undervalue that. Think of all your favorite producers, all the hits that they may have, or all the solid projects that they've put out over the years. You know how much you have to care about this to put out albums that may not even garner the success that most people are after? For example, we go back to 95, Group Home album. Phenomenal piece of work. Was it the greatest writing and rapping? No. But the yin and yang and the tonality, which was brought about during that project, makes it a classic because of the producer, DJ Premier. Some of the greatest production work we've ever heard in hip-hop history, because that's a producer who cares, took the time to develop his craft and put together entire albums. So if we go back 3 minutes ago when I stated that you're not going to like every beat, you won't. Nobody bats 1,000 in anything in life. Come on, man. Baseball player, if you hitting 300, you on your way to the Hall of Fame pretty much. 300, not 1,000. So in hip hop, you're not going to like every beat, but the primary goal is to make sure that you like the album, the project, giving the artist or the listener an array of different sounds, making sure the mix is pristine, if that's your goal, because you have someone like the Beatmakers who perhaps wanted a dirty mix. So it depends what your goal is as a producer. But as a listener, I think it's important that we, all of us, keep in mind that that is not an easy task. It isn't. Hit after hit after hit after hit, or quality project after quality project, being consistent while still learning and evolving. We have to respect the producer. Doesn't matter who it is. East Coast, West Coast, Midwest, Dr. Dre, Q-Tip, Lrofessor, Marley Mark, J Dilla, No ID, doesn't matter who it is. These people have put in the time and effort. I'm not saying that you can't critique what they do. Nah, I'm never going to say that. I'm not one of those guys. Critiquing and criticism in a constructive way makes all of us better, the listener and those who decided to share the art. But let's not act like producers nowadays are just here along for the ride. They're always in the room. They are the architects. They are the visionaries. And perhaps some of them even care more than the writer themselves. Because before I get out of here, ask yourself this question. Would you much rather listen to a spoken word album or instrumental/beat tape? Respect the producer, man. That's it. I appreciate y'all all out there, man. Make sure you put your top 5 producers in the comment section. Just want to see where everybody's head is at. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And I appreciate you all just showing love to the channel, man. Love this hip hop thing. And I appreciate you all, man. Go get yours. Yeah.